Welcome to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast, a relaxing and informative show where we explore anxiety, panic, and PTSD, sharing how you can overcome them for life.
Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I am so happy to be with you again today as together we can consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. We offer a number of ways to help you with your journey here at Anxiety Coaches Podcast, and I hope you will take advantage of everything that we offer. Be sure to subscribe to this twice-a-week podcast. I'd also suggest visiting our website where you can sign up for our newsletter, you can listen to the 10-minute body scan meditation, and check out the group and one-on-one coaching options, along with the resources and more information on anxiety. Go to anxietycoachespodcast.com and check all that out today. In today's episode, I'm talking about how you can cope with panic attacks. Call them panic attacks, call them anxiety attacks, panic anxiety, anxiety panic, whatever it is. If you suffer with it, you know what I'm talking about, and you understand the fear that you face in the moment that the attack is happening. You feel powerless to stop it. And that's one of the worst parts of it. And even if you despair that this constraint has become a part of you, take heart. There is much that you can do to cope. And of course, most of the things we talk about on this show are geared toward you not even ever going there again, right? Not going down the wormhole, not being stuck in fear and adrenaline fear kind of cycles. So you can learn to cope with, reduce, alleviate, and perhaps even eliminate your panic attacks for good. You really can. So I'm going to just go through briefly some specific actions that you can take to help you overcome these panic attacks. I know we've talked about panic attacks here before, but it bears repeating because there's always something new and always good to hear these things over and over again. Like many people tell me they listen to the show or particular episodes many times. And when they go back to it, they glean something they didn't get the first or second time. So feel free to go back and check out some of the older shows and bear with me as I talk about coping with panic attacks here once again. So where are we going to start with this? Well, we're going to know what's actually happening. You can learn a lot about panic attacks simply by paying attention to why they are occurring. You can also discover the root of your own panic attacks. And keep in mind, if you do not know what's happening to you and you aren't sure that you have anxiety or panic, if you don't know what's happening, always seek that diagnosis or help with that from your healthcare practitioner. And panic exists because it's a way for you to deal with a threatening situation. As I have said many times, this isn't our body and mind working against us at all. This is our body and mind thinking that it is protecting us and preparing us for the danger at hand. When you're in danger, your body releases adrenaline that enables you to think more quickly and in order to escape the threat. Panic attacks occur when you find yourself reacting to a situation with feelings of panic, even though there may not be an actual threat. In your mind, though, the threat is real, and this is where we have to be able to understand what's happening. It can be our thoughts alone that are creating the body reacting with these adrenaline releases and this need to escape, right? This is from thoughts. This is occurring in the mind. For example, if something terrifying once happened to you at the mall, this is very typical. I hear this over and over. And believe me, I had a thing against the mall back in the day. It was too busy, too crowded, too bright, whatever. But I didn't like it. So back to my example. If something terrifying once happened to you at the mall, future trips can still set off the panic attack, even though the threat is not there this time. Alternatively, you can even feel panic in certain situations without being able to figure out exactly why. So remember, you don't need to know the root of it. You don't need to know the why. But if you do know it, you can use that to your advantage. Whether you're consciously aware of the reasons for your panic attack or not, it's good to know that there are strategies that can help you overcome them. It also may be helpful for you to know that panic attacks generally cause no physical harm. When a panic attack strikes, you will get through it and things will return to normal again. I want you to remember that this alone can knock down the panic attack a few pegs just by remembering that this is not causing me any real physical harm, and it will end. It's kind of like riding the wave. Once it's started, it's going to continue. But if you don't add more stress and scary thoughts and feelings to it, it will return to normal soon. You can also, on the other side of the coin, keep it going by being afraid, by using negative self-talk, beating yourself up, really digging into the negative, fearful side of it and continuing those thoughts. You can keep more adrenaline coming and you can keep it going longer. So use your mind, use your wise mind to remind yourself that when the panic attack strikes, you will get through it and things will return to normal soon. Now, I want to talk about how to cope during the attack. And before I do that, I want to mention today's sponsor of this episode, Ned. Ned's collection of full-spectrum hemp oil products contains CBD extracted from the finest organic hemp plants. From seed to bottle, Ned's premium small batch products are slow-crafted to deliver superior quality while supporting independent farmers, communities, and the environment. All Ned's products are made from organic, whole, and natural ingredients. They only source its products from local farms and communities, and during production, Ned energetically infuses all its products with binaural beats, positive affirmations, and happy vibes. Well, we love that part for sure. And I want to tell you guys about one of their collections is for women. It is the Ned Natural Cycle Collection, and it includes 4 different products. There's the Period Ease Blend, the Hormone Balance Blend, the Hormone Energize Roll-On, and the Period Soothe Salve. And what's so special about these is that I got a report from someone who was using these products for 2 months, and they have had remarkable changes in their cycle just from using Ned's Natural Cycle Collection. They have had an easier time of their period and an easier time premenstrually. So I was thrilled to get this from this person, and I did tell them I would mention it on the ad because I want you to know these things can be so easily changed by using products that work. So I'm so happy for that report and for this new collection that they came out with. I think it's marvelous. It's a beautiful collection and it smells divine. Thank you, Ned, for supporting the show. All of you listening can get 15% off today with free shipping by going to www.helloned.com/ACP. That's www.helloned.com/ACP and use code ACP. That link will be in the show notes for your convenience. And now we can talk about how to cope during a panic attack. Once an attack is taking place, you might feel powerless, really scared, and like you can't do anything. But instead of allowing your panicked thoughts to take over, focus on your body and methods of relaxation. I have said many times that the breathing can really counteract the panic, since a panicked state forces you to take quick, shallow breaths. So what do we talk about here? We talk about using diaphragmatic breathing, using our Buddha belly breathing, whatever you want to call it, relaxing the belly and letting the breath go deeper into the lungs and letting the diaphragm flatten out and actually stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. But we can't do that if we are breathing in those shallow, quick breaths. So the best way to flip that around is to simply extend your exhalation. Let it be longer and slower. I think that's my mantra. Longer and slower exhalation. I say it here so many times because it is actually key into calming down the nervous system. Another thing I want you to do is to not avoid your panic-inducing situations. It's natural to want to simply avoid situations where you might feel scared. However, this is usually not a good solution. I remember this from the day with the elevators. I did not like elevators. I had a bad experience in one elevator and never felt good in them until I cleared my anxiety panic. And telling you, you can't avoid these things in life, right? You can't avoid cars, getting in the car, driving, crowds, malls, all of those things. So we want to be able to keep ourselves going into these situations with our coping skills because we can take care of ourselves. If you need to tell yourself that you can't do these things because they'll give you a panic attack, you're just reinforcing the behavior. Rather than helping yourself prevent your panic, you're more likely going to feed the fear and make the attacks even stronger. Although it's difficult, when you continue to engage in the activities and the places and people and things that may induce your panic, you're actually giving yourself many opportunities to overcome your challenges. This is perfect time to practice. The more you go, the more you can practice. So there are some natural methods for coping with panic. You can use these things and you can make changes to your routine that have the power to ease your panic and anxiety. And you know that meditation is one helpful method. We talk about meditation here all the time. Meditating can help you become more relaxed and in tune with your body and mind. You can become more mindful and understanding where your body is at, what your mind is thinking, and not being frightened or reactive to those things. Once you are mindful, you are not reacting. These benefits can aid in understanding, preventing, and helping you cope with the panic. So there's a lot of lifestyle changes. That's what we talk about here day in and day out. So when you are using some of the tools that we talk about here on the show, you are making lifestyle changes to help you with your panic. And one of those things that we talk about that bears repeating is exercise, being able to keep yourself exercising. Most of us don't realize that exercise is not all about the body. It has great power in balancing the mind too. So you'll be doing yourself a favor if you pay attention to things like your diet, your sleeping habits, all of the things that we talk about on many of the other shows. All of these factors can have an effect on your panic attacks, but just keep it in your mind that you are doing those things as practices. So with a little research, some self-reflection, and anti-panic strategies that we've even talked about here today, you can begin to get a handle on your panic attacks. Know that you can have power over them. With knowledge and practice, you can be free of the fear of another panic attack. That's it for today's episode. And before I read today's quote, I want to remind you that if you want more than what's offered here and more personal guidance, you might be ready for our group coaching membership program. It's a deeper dive into what you learn here on these episodes. Each month, you'll receive 2 anxiety clearing skill sheets sent in email. You'll also receive 2 live group coaching calls, which are recorded in case you can't attend. Those will help guide you through your challenges. And there's also a secret Facebook group for coach and community support every day, all month long. So if you're ready for more, go to anxietycoachespodcast.com/group-coaching and join today. I'd love to see you in the group. And now for today's quote. The truth you believe and cling to makes you unavailable to hear anything new. And that's from Pema Chodron. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.
Thanks so much for joining us for today's episode of the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. Find more information at theanxietycoachespodcast.com.